kind of thing than we've seen with Superman before. Lots of opportunities. Tell us what's coming to our show soon.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's the thing about Krypton is it's a relatively unexplored part of the DC universe, which gives us a lot of freedom, in the world building of it all. One of the challenges I think of a show like this is that people think of it as a prequel. People think that they have a sense of how this story is going to end, with the destruction of the planet. And I think what we've done is challenge that expectation. We have the way we sort of get into our story is to sort of suggest that there's a threat that's coming from present day Earth to Krypton in the past it's a conspiracy to try and prevent Superman from being born. So it makes the show less about a look back at things that happened on this planet, before Superman was born, and it makes it more about the here and now,
With Smallville and Gotham, they made the city or the town become like a supporting role. They become an active player, somehow.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like that too here with Krypton?
I think it is. I think the world of the show, in that sense, it's a world with a very rigid class divide. There's the rankless, who are the bottom, the lowest class in Kandor, and then there's the gilded society. So the lawmakers guild or the science guild, and those people are they live high up in these towers, and the rankless live kind of like in the dirt on the bottom. So so in that sense, yeah, it is a character in that way, like living in that kind of environment really shapes everybody else.
Well, what you're describing, usually Krypton's depicted as a utopia, like the Christopher Reeve movies.
Right.
So it sounds more like a dystopia you're making.
It's a little bit of both, and that's part of the story that we're telling is that our hero, Seg-El, who's Superman's grandfather, he's really tasked with the job of ushering in that golden age of Krypton that everybody's more familiar with, the kind of Jor-El generation. So there's a sense of that utopia up in the kind of gilded area, but down below it's not. And I think Seg's job is to try and to almost lead a revolution that will usher in that golden age, because it's from that golden age that the kind of bloodline that is eventually becomes Superman is kind of born out of. So when we start the show, the kind of political landscape of Krypton, it's more like a totalitarianism. It's like it's a fundamentalist theocracy, and if Superman, if Kal-El's rocket ship left from that world, we would have a very different Superman, to the one we had. So it's really about, ushering in that new golden age to give us the Superman that we need.
How do you balance exploring let's call it the unmined panels of Krypton with, there must be a hit list of things the fans will want, references to the Superman universe that they know, whether it's the Zod family or whatever it is.
Well, I mean, we're lucky enough to have Jeff Johns, who'll be moderating our panel later. He obviously, and David Goyer, between them, they've done, they know that Superman mythology better than anybody. So they're, exceptional partners and incredibly supportive. So they fill in a lot of blanks that we don't know. Like I have a pretty good knowledge of it, but these guys have an extensive. So they're able to kind of, we'll be introducing a lot of characters into the show from the DC, universe, and characters that you wouldn't expect to see in Krypton, and I think that framing device that I mentioned in terms of that conspiracy to sort of unravel Superman's birth, it opens up the show in so many different unexpected ways that allows those other characters to come in. So yeah, we're blessed to have the whole DC toy box more or less at our disposal, and we have great people to guide us in which toys to use.
Do you see it as a standalone story, not necessarily something that ties into other DC television shows and movies?
Yeah, it's not part of the Arrowverse, and it's not really part of the DCEU. It's sort of it's adjacent to both of those. It's not going to feel like something completely different and like it doesn't belong. It does, but it is its own. By virtue of the fact that it's set on an alien planet and it's set 200 years ago, it is going to have it's going to feel different in that sense, and it's I think people will see the trailer later today, but it looks pretty, it has a very unique look, but I don't think it looks like anything else on TV.
When you talk about the Arrowverse or the DCU, when you're all at the toy box, is
Yeah.
there one toy box, and do you have to kind of elbow a little bit to
There's
say,
a-
we want him,
yeah.
we want him, you can't have
Yeah.
him, and do you ever all fight over toys?
Well, I don't know if we so much fight because we have Jeff and the people at DC will say, no, we're going to do that in the film, or we're exploring that in one of the other shows or whatever it is. So they kind of guide us as to what as to who gets what really. But I think so far anyway we've been everything that we've wanted we've been able to get, and in fact we've been given a whole lot more that we wouldn't have dared ask for. So yeah, we're lucky.
I'm sorry. We've never really seen a sympathetic Zod, even though people have tried, like in Smallville and things like that. Are we going to be exploring that family in a different way than we've ever seen before, or what?
Most definitely, and I think that's one of the things about doing this show, and because it is, and it speaks to your question as well, because it's a cable show, it's not part of the Arrowverse, we're very, very keen to explore a lot more character shading, whether it's, with characters who you would, usually identify as villains or heroes. It's just not so black and white in the world of Krypton, which is, what's ultimately, the most, I think, attractive thing about the show is, and I think it's what people are ultimately going to keep coming back for are these characters. So we need to make them compelling, and I think that comes from, making them real and having lots of shading.
How many episodes is the show?
It's 10 episodes. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
Producer Cameron.